Welcome to this video where we're going to be rating and ranking all of these AI coding editors, tools, vibe coding tools. With me today are Wes and Scott. How you guys doing?
I'm doing awesome. Excited to rank all of these from best to worst.
Yes, I'm stoked. I'm the Vibe Master Extreme, and today I'm going to be Vibe Master 4000, giving you the top quality tier list here for you all.
Nice. And we all have some level of usage and exposure to these tools, so we're going to kind of just talk about our experience and be honest with them. So let's get into it.
So the first one we're going to hit is Cursor, the VS Code fork that took everyone's hearts and minds by storm when it showed up, offering an actual UI and nice way to work with AI in a nicer way, I would say, than what was initially presented inside of VS Code. CJ has gone and dropped it into B tier, so I'm going to assume that is his assessment.
Yeah, so I dropped it in B tier. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to start everything in B tier so I don't influence the vote, and then we'll move it up or down.
Well, you
there.
Influenced my vote, and I will keep it there. Cursor to me feels like, and I am a victim of this as well, baby's first decent AI tool. I'm not getting anything out of Cursor that I'm not getting out of other tools in this day and age.
I kind of agree. Like Cursor was one of the first, right? It was like people freaked out when it initially came out and like its abilities. But since then, some of these other tools have added like much better user experiences and like better ways of like working with context. I'm between A and B tier because like I use it almost all the time, but lately I've been getting really mad at it because like sometimes it doesn't stay on track. The planning tools aren't as good as some of these other AI coding editors. So yeah, I'm like low A tier if anything for me.
Okay, I'm gonna put it as an S tier, mostly because like they keep just adding all of the features that everybody else does. I'm running it in max mode. It's fantastic, and also like Cursor really changed the game for so much. Like VS Code Copilot was working pretty well when Cursor came around, but there was like some bugs. Like I specifically had one bug where it would add extra curly braces to the end of the tab completion, and I opened that. It was open for a year, and it was something I hit like 7 or 8 times a day, and that was a major issue. And it took an entire year of me, who has a fairly loud voice in this, of complaining to actually get it fixed. And,
did you just throw a "Do you know who I am" moment here? Is that
kinda, yeah. Like kinda like I was like pretty vocal about it and getting like people to sort of to go behind it. And once Cursor came around, like VS Code like put themselves into like rocket ship gear. They're like, oh shit, like we got to keep going. So for that reason, and for the fact that like Cursor is rolling out new stuff absolutely every single week, they're rolling out all of these new features. They're constantly pushing the game as to like what are the new ways we can attack this. Their background stuff is really cool as well. I'm saying S tier.
Okay. All right, I think we can meet in the middle at A tier.
Yeah.
All right.
And I will say I have not opened Cursor since going back to VS Code or Kiro. So for me, I'm always going one, and we'll talk about more of those in a minute, though.
Yeah.
So what about VS Code Copilot? Where does that lie in relation to a lot of these other editors? And I feel like VS Code maybe gets a bit worse rap than it should, because a lot of people had left it probably a year ago when they switched over to Cursor, and they have not gone back to try it just yet. So Scott, you said you've been using it a lot lately. What's your feelings there?
Yeah, I would still probably put it in B tier currently, B/A. Maybe I'm getting into that territory, because if Cursor is an A, to me VS Code's an A, because the two of them there's nothing that Cursor can do right now for me that I feel like VS Code can't do just as well. So for me, VS Code is extremely competent as an editor. And then you also have the added benefit of having the entire VS Code marketplace of extensions and just not the open VISX ones or whatever. So I do like VS Code. Lucy likes it too. I would put it as an A.
Yeah, I'm going low A tier. The thing is, like, these other editors wouldn't exist without VS Code, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, Wes, is they were one of the first to release these AI features, like with Copilot, and that's why people switched off of it, because it took them a while to get up to speed and add all the other features and make it good. But lately, I do reach for VS Code as well. yeah, low A tier for me.
I prefer the like chat interface going back and forth with the terminal. I feel is a bit better. Like the cursor one just drives me nuts every single time it tries to start something in a new terminal. I do feel like all of that is a lot more polished in VS Code. And then I also feel like the speed of it has gotten a bit faster in the last couple months. I still feel like it's a little bit slower, but like a lot of this stuff with AI is just feeling based and not actually numbers based. So I'm going to say A tier as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And another point for it is I think it has a really generous free tier. I think they're wanting to get people to use it like because of Copilot.
Yeah.
But that's one thing as well. With a lot of these tools, you kind of have to pay up front. But with VS Code and Copilot, you can at least get a little bit of free usage. I think Cursor has some too, but I feel like I hit the limits earlier with the Cursor free tier than I do with the Copilot free tier.
Let me tell you one thing that VS Code can do that no other editor can do, and that is restart the freaking TypeScript server, which is hilarious. All the others cannot possibly restart the TypeScript server.
Yeah. All right, next up is Windsurf. And I will say, I actually haven't used Windsurf, but I used what Windsurf was based on, Codium. So for a while, because Copilot wasn't the best inside of VS Code, I added the Codium extension, and that worked inside of VS Code. And for a while, that was how I was doing AI editing before Cursor came out. So for me, again, they're like, A tier, but I don't know. Have you guys used Windsurf proper?
I did for many months when it first came out, and I kept dipping back into it, and I very much enjoyed the small UI tweaks that they made to it, because so much of working with AI is when too much stuff is happening, or when your code has been edited and you need to review what's happening, when you are not entirely sure what's happening or what has happened in the UI, it feels a little bit overwhelming. And I feel like Windsurf, from a UI perspective, has absolutely nailed that. And a couple little tweaks just to make VS Code feel a little bit more fresh. However, I haven't been in it in a couple months just because like all the acquisition stuff, and I haven't necessarily felt the need to do that.
Yeah, I put it in B tier just because of the chaos surrounding it.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there anything in Windsurf today that would make me pick it over Kiro, over even just VS Code? Like, is there anything that compelling to me when there's already these other options that I feel like are more compelling? I don't think so. And while it could probably functionally be an A tier, I'm gonna throw it in B just because if you're giving me the four of these in terms of like the VS Code fork landscape, I'm probably picking that one last, just because nothing instantly compelling there.
Yeah, I agree. B tier.
All right, next up is the ghostest with the mostest. I'm talking about Kiro, the VS Code fork from Amazon, AWS team specifically. I personally feel like Kiro, out of the VS Code forks, is number one. So I go high A tier with it, and I'm not even going to go S tier. I think there are some things that Kiro really nails. There's things that prevent it from going to S tier for me. But the Kiro is great because it is spec-driven development. There's actions, there's hooks. Actually, I bump it up to S for me. We can bump it back down later. There's so many great things about Kiro, about keeping you on track. The only thing that makes this like an S- to me is that it loves to add files and add stuff to your code base. And if you're not like on it about please, it's like, oh, let me just add in this HTML file to test this. Let me just add in this other MD file. Let me just add, you have to be on it. But in terms of output, I found it to be so reliable and so organized that I really do appreciate and use Kiro when I use VS Code based editors.
Yeah, I'd probably go like low A tier. So I used it a little bit after Scott put me onto it. And the whole spec-driven development idea is great because I think especially for more unorganized developers, it really keeps you in line. It's like a to-do list on steroids. And it basically makes it so that when you're working on apps, you have to do all of that up front. You have these specs that describe what your app does. It describes the architecture. Like it even comes up with like user stories. So like that aspect of coding with AI, I think is really great. But when I was trying to use Kiro, it almost felt like it was like a false sense of security because it had all of that, but every now and then it would still drift from it. So like of all of these AI tools we're going to talk about today, I don't think there's a single one that like does exactly what I tell it to do. And that's one of the gripes I have about Kiro. So for me, like A tier, not quite S tier.
Yeah. The thing that bumps it up for me beyond that is like the UI stuff for the MCP integration, the AI hooks, and the steering docs are really great.
A lot of these complaints could also just be chalked up to the model that you're using as well.
Yeah, totally.
Because how these tools that we're talking about today, how they supply context, how they bring all of the stuff to the model, all the tricks that they use behind the scenes to bring it to the model. And then the other side of it is once the model comes back with the code is how do you then apply that? That's the actual editor, but the model is actually doing a lot of the thinking here. So how they interact with the model is up to the editor. So I'm curious, like when you're talking about these things, which models are you generally using?
Kiro defaults to, isn't it like Anthropic's model?
Yes. Yeah, it defaults to Anthropic.
Yeah, and like with Cursor, I try to keep it on auto mode, and then lately I've been just switching instantly to GPT-5, but GPT-5 takes a lot longer because it has like thought mode. So how do you guys feel about putting Kiro between Cursor and VS Code? Like they're innovating in the UI space and spectrum development, but
it's more useful to me. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So next one we have is Trae. This is from ByteDance. They have their own VS Code fork. I'm going to put this one at a B tier, maybe even C tier, because in order to use it in Canada, you have to run a VPN. You literally cannot. But they are pretty aggressively developing it, and I think it is a very good alternative to like a Cursor or a Copilot. I don't think it will ever get the momentum that it does in our circles, at least, simply because a lot of people will not trust that it is a Chinese company. But I don't know. B or C. I'm kind of in between there.
Okay. No, I haven't used it. I saw the TikTok video you made about it when it came out, but that's about it. I'm happy with C tier because I don't have any reason I would try to use it either right now.
That's the thing with a lot of these tools is like it's simply just getting people to try it, not necessarily even being the absolute best is pretty tricky. But Trae is an awesome job. The UI feels really good. All the integrations feel really good if you can use a VPN to get access to it.
Word. All right, next one, Claude Code. This is a fan favorite. People really like Claude Code. It's CLI based, so it's not within your editor itself. And I don't have any strong opinions on Claude Code because I never got deep into using it. It was getting cheaper or /free options available elsewhere, and did not spend the money on Claude Code. So guys, I'm going to rely on your expertise here. Is the hype real on Claude Code?
It's real, and I'm going S tier. Like I've paid for the $300 a month Claude plan. Yeah. And it's almost like I was like desperate. I was like, I ran out of tokens and I was like, but it's doing so well, I'm just going to pay it. And so I can finish it.
Can we talk about the one more token? One more prompt will fix this. It feels like gambling sometimes, for real. Like I'm pulling the lever. Like, no, you'll understand what I'm talking about this time.
Yeah, and the reason it's S tier for me is because it tends to do what I tell it the most. So I came from VS Code, then to Codium, and then to Cursor. Was using Cursor for the longest time, and then finally when I tried Claude Code, it was like one of the first tools that really sticks to the plan, and it also has plan mode, so it basically has an entire mode where it won't write any code at all and just make a plan. So that's a great way of making sure that you have a good plan before you start writing code. And like I mentioned, it actually sticks to the to-do list typically. So yeah, Claude Code is S tier for me. Almost everything I've tried to build with it, I was able to do. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say either S or A tier. And I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people who are bagging on AI written code, there's obviously a lot of things wrong with it, but there's a lot of people who just think that it's nothing but garbage, and they have not tried a very expensive model. And I'm curious to see like what that ends up looking like, right? Because they're probably not making a lot of money, and the fact that you have to pay $300 it's probably even costing them even more than that at the end of the day. So it's pretty good. It's really good. I'm gonna say A tier simply because I understand why people like CLI based tooling. The reason why people like CLI tooling is because you can also, like, you're not just typing it in and sitting there and waiting for it and reviewing everything. The reason why they do that is because they can either send it off as a background agent, they can hook it up to something else, right? It's a CLI. It's essentially an API to create coding agents. And you can use a lot of these CLI things to do that, right? You can hook it up to your GitHub or your project management software or GitHub or whatever. And I like that for being an API, but I don't like it from like a developer experience. I much prefer doing it all inside of an IDE, which is why I'm saying Cursor is S tier. I would probably put Cursor and Claude Code as S tier myself.
Yeah, I agree. But one thing I'll say about Claude is it has IDE integration. So I did a video where I was trying Claude Code for the first time, and I found the IDE integration. So you can have a similar flow that you have in Cursor, where basically you can approve every single change, and it'll open up the diffs inside of VS Code. So you can have that flow.
That's
but
and you can
like
approve
saying
them?
like the Git CLI has editor integration where you can just open it up.
Well, no, it'll pause. So like you're prompting it, and then it'll say accept the edits inside of VS Code, and then you click accept or deny. And it's like a similar flow.
Like that's only part of the UI. Like I want to be able to scroll back and see everything and go back to a certain point in time. And in Cursor, you can run multiple background agents and like literally close your computer and walk away, right? It's running in the cloud. Of course, you can open it up in your editor. I know that.
One thing, so Claude, okay, good. I'm glad you brought that up because Claude does not have checkpoints built in. People have created MCP servers that try to do this, but literally there's no way to go back to like a previous prompt that you made. And with Cursor, you can do that. Like you can revert because it has checkpoints, but you can't do that with Claude.
I guess just use Git, right?
Yeah, you could use Git.
Bro, let me tell you, I've gotten so used to committing so much more frequently now because of these types of tools. Let's talk about the next one, which is Opencode. I'm going to put Opencode in S tier, not because it does anything novel that Claude Code can't do, but because it is open. It's open source. You just bring your own API keys, and other than that, it is very, very similar to Claude Code. This, because of that, is the one that I've been using the most. And also, since I have access to Copilot, right, you can even log in with Copilot, and now you're not paying for something else. You're using your Copilot subscription for that. So I really like Opencode. I've set up MCP servers, I've used agents. It also has the same planning and building modes. You can create your own agents. You can really wire it up to do it. Like it is basically Claude Code in many ways. So I love Opencode. I think it's fantastic for me. It is the first one that has pulled me away from an IDE-based AI flow.
Nice.
Yeah, the bring your own key. A lot of these editors will allow you to bring your own key, and that's awesome. If you're not spending a whole bunch. Some of these plans make a lot of sense because you're probably spending more than it's costing them, and you're just burning some VC's money. But I think the future hopefully will be bring your own key, where you can just pay for your own usage and not have to get nickel and dimed for, I don't know, $14 a month per user, you know?
Right, exactly, yeah.
And I haven't used Opencode, but I'm tempted because of those exact reasons. But that's why I've stuck with Claude Code, because I was already paying for the Anthropic Claude plan. Like I can use Claude Desktop, I can use Claude Code. Mm-hmm. But it is nice that you could bring whatever key you want. One thing I'll mention that I did set up with Claude Code, and I'm sure you could do a similar thing with Opencode, is I wanted to be able to just vibe from the couch or from my bed. So I actually, in my house, I set it up so that I could SSH into one of my machines that's running Claude Code, and then I could literally SSH from my Android phone to just keep prompting it. And I'm sure you could do something similar with Opencode, where like now it's just, because it's terminal based, you can just do things remotely. You just SSH in and you can start prompting it. So that's one of the other cool things about these CLI based tools.
This is why I want a foldable phone, because I'd be doing that with the foldable phone. Yeah.
Yeah, you should see me. I have a whole arm that like puts the phone in front of me in my bed, and then I had like a Bluetooth keyboard. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's the future.
Oh my gosh.
All right, next up, Gemini. Gemini as Google's CLI-based coding thing, and Google stuff has gotten really good lately. I have tried it right when it came out. There was a couple bugs, but not any bugs where it's just like, this thing sucks. It's just like, that's what happens on the first day of launch. So I'm going to say throwing this one on A tier, because my experience in its planning, my experience in its actual execution, and the price of Google's AI models is excellent.
Yeah. I will say, like, the fact that every person with a Gmail account out there gets some free tier access on Gemini CLI is a plus for it. But I've tried to use it the past few days, and multiple times it basically forgets about all my MCP servers. I don't know if this is like a recent bug, but like I use a Context 7 MCP server, which can get docs automatically. And I've even prompted Gemini. I was like, use the MCP server, like get the docs, and it wouldn't. It would do like a web fetch to try and request the docs versus just using the MCP server. So I don't know if that's a me thing, but lately I've just been hitting issues where it's not as sticking to the plan and using MCP servers like Claude Code.
Yeah.
As for me, it's like high B tier. I don't know. Have you used it, Scott?
No.
Okay.
Let's keep it at B then. That's good.
Cool. All right, next up is Qwen CLI, and I actually haven't used this either, but this is from the company Qwen that created the Qwen model, and it's another CLI-based tool, but I put it on the list because we have all the other CLI tools. But have you guys used Qwen before?
No, there's no, for me, I haven't found anything compelling enough. Okay. That's the problem with a lot of these. There's so many of them that you could fire it up and just see, okay, it works, whatever. But no, I haven't found anything compelling enough or unique enough that makes me feel like I should be using it.
Yeah, let's go low B tier.
Yeah, I've used some of the Qwen stuff in other projects, but not specifically the coding one. It's great that it's all open source and whatnot, but the cost of these things are, I know I just said that some of them are really expensive, but the cost is starting to come down on them.
Yeah, and I'll say one thing about Qwen is their model is open, so technically you could self-host it, you could run it on a machine that's powerful enough, and then have like a completely offline flow. But you could do a similar thing with Opencode.
All right, let's keep moving. I'm going to be honest. None of these other ones have really gotten my goose here. Next one up is Codex. Codex. Have y'all used Codex?
Yeah, Codex is a CLI from OpenAI, and there's kind of two parts here, right? They have like a whole GUI, like writing code in the browser type thing, but then they also have like a Codex CLI, which is similar to the tools we were just talking about. Good. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy because a couple of weeks ago, nobody was talking about it. It seems the last couple of days, absolutely everybody's talking about how it's so much better than Claude Code, which just lends it to like maybe Opencode is the move here, that we're switching between all of these things so often. So
isn't it weird how the latest one that you've used is the best one?
Is that that's why we're using it.
Yeah. not you particular, just people on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm putting this one as B tier.
Right. Next up in the rest of these in this list, I guess except for ChatGPT itself, are more of like vibe coding tools. Like they're browser based. You don't install them on your machine. You just go to a website and use them. For me, I'm actually going to put V0 like high B tier, maybe low A tier. I have vibe coded several tools with V0 where I didn't even look at the code once. I basically prompted it, did a few more prompts, and didn't even care about the code that was generated. I just wanted a working app. And for me, these other tools, that's kind of what they're useful for, in my opinion. But yeah, V0 is pretty decent.
That puts it at low B for me. It's not creating anything that I would like to create. To me, it's for vibing. It's for exactly what you're doing. It's creating things that you're probably not going to look at or support long term. It's getting you off on a good foot, and it's creating some good stuff. There's no doubt about it. But am I picking this for a long-term project? Probably not.
No, it gets you started, but you'd probably have to move it into another tool to go any further.
Good for V0. I'm gonna say as well, probably high B tier.
Let's go.
They were like one of the very first people on the scene with this whole idea. which is really exciting to see. There's a whole huge community behind it, which is really interesting to see as well. Like a lot of this AI coding stuff, you're seeing like a whole new sub community of people who are technical but not developers starting to build stuff. So I'm gonna say probably high B tier. Also, they have an excellent mobile experience as well. So I've literally seen people out on the go being like, shoot, we need I was talking to Adam Wathan. He was like at a cornhole tournament and he needed like a way to like keep score with all the weird cornhole rules and just made an app to do it. And the people were just like, holy smokes, what? You just made an app? And like, that's ideal. Being like, we have a problem. I can fix it on my phone. I can make software for my phone in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, completely agree. So I used V0 to make a scheduling app for Denver Fan Expo. And I vibed it at night, used it during the day. There was a bug, and I literally was prompting it from the show floor to fix it. And then it deployed and it was done. So yeah, it's really good for just prototyping, updating things quickly. This next one is Bolt.new. Very similar to V0, like the interface looks almost exactly the same. I'm going to put it low B tier because I haven't seen anything that it does that's better than V0. I think early on it was pretty good at knowing how to write Vue.js code, whereas V0 is pretty much like just React. So yeah, low B tier for me.
I'm going to say high B tier because Bolt was like the first one on the scene where it was like full stack. Like it does the back end code, the front end code. The folks behind Bolt is StackBlitz, and they spent years working on StackBlitz and their web containers project in order to run Node in the browser. And also, if I were to like tell somebody to go to one of these, I would probably say go to Bolt because it was very much like you said, it's Vue, and it can use Vite if you want, and you can write Next.js and stuff like that. And I feel like, and this might not be true, but I feel like V0 will probably nudge you towards using all of the Vercel products. It's just another way for them to funnel people into their products.
Yeah, and I think the back end part of that does matter. Absolutely.
V0 can do that now, but I think the Bolt plus the integration where you can always just kick out to a StackBlitz, I think that's pretty sweet experience.
Sick.
Next one is Replit. This is kind of an interesting one because Replit seems to have a lot of uptake, not in the like dev community. They seem to have a lot of uptake in just the like general people who want to vibe code stuff. It's not a VS Code fork, which is we'll give them some points for that type of thing. Them and Lovable, there's like this huge like paying influencers to talk about AI, and a lot of these influencers do not like say that they are getting paid from it. It's a real problem. You should see the emails that I get from it. So just for that, I'm gonna put it on C tier. I just get so many emails from them, but there's also cool people that work there. Right? He sent me a hat and whatnot, and there's a lot of cool people there.
Yeah, I agree with you, Wes. That really bugs me. And likewise, we get emails all the time, and it is always suspicious when we get an email for somebody wanting to clue us in on some kind of campaign, and then like 2 days later, some other person on Twitter or YouTube is like, "This is the single greatest tool ever," and then it's a non-stated. Like I know what you did. I know that you took money for this. And I'm not saying it.
Getting money here. And that just makes me feel not good about the company because
exactly
what
makes me
else,
not trust it.
Yeah, what else is not true about it aside from the product being good? If the marketing around it is skeezy, and that's what makes me also like Bolt quite a bit as well. Like I've never had a bad feel from the folks that run Bolt, and I feel like they are a big part of the community.
Yeah, and let me just say, folks, for anybody out there who doesn't know, Syntax does not accept sponsorship. That said, do sign up for Sentry at sentry.io/syntax. Use the coupon code TASTYTREAT, all lowercase, all one word. It's different because we're owned by Sentry. We're not sponsored by them, so.
Right.
Yes.
Then we got Lovable, but we've already kind of been talking about it. It's very similar to Replit. It's like online only. I feel like I've seen people advertising Lovable as like cloning websites, which I think is fine. Like there was so many posts on Twitter of like, oh, look, I cloned this site in an instant, but it's coming from non-technical people that don't realize, oh, there's a whole backend that you would need if you wanted to actually clone that site. And so you have the front end, great. It looks exactly the same, but I could do that too by just like opening up the dev tools. It's nothing crazy. I don't know. Have you guys used Lovable or any thoughts on it?
I've not for the same reasons that when I first heard of them, I heard about it just one day on TikTok. I just heard it 1,000 times over. And then I'm realizing, oh, they're pulling some sort of, I don't think we're their audience either. Their audience is people who want to make it. Like there's probably some like Photoshop podcast or like logo creator podcasts or video editor podcasts talking right now being like, those are shitty, you know, like you have to like care about the code that you're writing and the stuff. And then we I don't give a shit about any of that. I just want to boop, boop, boop into the box and have the thing appear. That's the audience.
Yes, that's definitely the audience. I put Lovable, I put V0, I put Bolt.new into one giant W tier that stands for what will you build today? The heading that is above all of their inputs, all the websites have the same gosh darn layout and interface. What will you build? Like, okay.
Yeah.
We do something more fun than that.
All right, last up, the OG copying and pasting into the ChatGPT window. I think, honestly, like, I'm feeling S tier. It's like every now and then you don't need to be inside of an editor, you know, just prompt it, copy, paste. It's I don't know.
It's great. And also sometimes you want to ask it a question and not have the baggage of your entire code base.
Totally.
You know, forget everything that you've seen, forget everything I've done. I just want to ask you this question straight on. And ChatGPT is great for that.
Yes, I actually agree because I use this for just one-off questions so much. And Omarky has made it like really easy for me to do that with Command A just pops open in a little window right there. I just type in my question and whatever. I know I'm not using, I know you do this with Raycast West, so it's very, very similar. It's just so easy to do. One question, no context. Yes, not for long-term projects, but it saves your ass all the time. So, how are we feeling about this tier list, folks?
Oh, hold on, I got one more. Late edition, Warp Code. Warp, the terminal that I love. They've been slowly moving into being like the UI for writing code, right? And it's kind of a mix between like these CLI based ones and kind of a mix between like editors, which is you get a bit more UI. And that's the thing I've always liked about Warp is that it's a bit more of a nicer UI for interacting with the terminal. And they've gone whole hog into, like, I don't really like it because I like it as a terminal and a lot of their features are starting to get muddied up, but they're moving into this like the writing code space. I've not dipped into it just yet, so I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, but I thought I would throw it out there as well.
Yeah, we definitely forgot to add it, but I think we'll have Randy like overlay it. Let's put it like low B tier.
Yeah, I would say low B tier. We'll take a look at it in a month or two, see where it's at.
Well, I will say we have nothing in F tier, so is it cool if I put Lovable in F tier?
Yes, I'm okay with that. Yeah. It's probably the only one I don't know people at the company, so I feel okay about that.
Okay, great.